When was the last time you actually rested? And I'm not talking about collapsed onto the couch, absolutely exhausted, or fell asleep in front of your laptop. When was the last time you did something that actually restored you? If that question just landed a little uncomfortably, then we are about to have a very important conversation. Welcome back to Small Business Simplified. I'm Karin, your business big sister, multi-passionate entrepreneur with 25 plus years of building small businesses and helping others do the same. And I know a little something about burning the candle at both ends, as it were. This is the third and final episode in our June Summer Sustainability series. We started the month by building the Step-Away Stack, the 4-layer system that lets your business actually run without you for a week. Last week, we set summer hours that you can hold without apologizing or without losing clients. Today, we are going underneath both of those to the foundation that makes either one worth doing in the first place. We are talking about rest, real rest. Not the version most solopreneurs have been doing for years and calling rest. And I want to be honest with you before we go further. I am still learning this one in my own businesses, and it's a constant learning process. As an athlete and a fitness instructor, I certainly know the power of rest in a training schedule. But the business version of me that knows how to take a walk without checking my phone is a relatively new version. So this is not me preaching from the other side. This is me sharing what I have learned about why rest is the most strategically important thing most of us are still not doing. Let's get into it. I want you to hear me when I say rest is not the reward that you earn after the work is done. It's the input that makes the work possible, okay? And those sentences might land a little sideways for you, but sit with that a little bit. Most of us have absorbed the opposite belief of this, that rest is what you get after you have earned it, after you have checked off enough boxes, or the deadline has been met, or the launch is over, or the quarter has closed. The problem with that belief is that the work is never done. The boxes never end. The deadline is just replaced by the next one. If rest is the reward for finished work, you will never rest because the work is never finished. So before we talk about what rest is, I think we need to name what it's not, because most of what gets called rest, and I'm using air bunnies here, in a tiny business owner's life is actually something else. And the something else is the reason you never feel restored no matter how much time you take off. Most solopreneurs do not rest. They collapse. Okay? Collapse is what happens when you have worked until you literally cannot anymore, and then you do whatever requires the least amount of effort to keep you upright. Scrolling on your phone, watching TV, having a cocktail, calling for takeout, the lying on the couch while your brain still spins about work. Okay? This collapse just uses up the rest of your energy without restoring any of it. It feels like resting because you're not actively producing, but you do not feel better afterward. You just feel less acutely depleted, at least until the next workday hits and then the cycle starts all over again. Rest is different. Rest is intentional. It is restorative, right? You feel better after it, not just less terrible. So if all you know how to do is collapse, you will never actually feel rested no matter how much time you take off. You'll take a vacation, you'll collapse for a week technically, and come back still exhausted. And then you're just going to conclude that vacation just doesn't work for you. But the vacation isn't what didn't work. Collapse is what didn't work, right? You didn't actually rest. We have to learn the difference, and we have to choose deliberately. So most of us think of rest as one thing, sleep, right? And sleep absolutely matters. In fact, it's critical. And if your sleep is broken, well, let's fix that first for sure. That's foundational. But sleep is not the only kind of rest that your body and your mind need. You can sleep 8 hours a night and still feel exhausted. And I'm pretty sure some of you are nodding your head in agreement with me right now, right? Because you're depleted in a category that sleep doesn't refill. There are 4 types of rest that a small business owner needs. Each one gets depleted differently, so each one is restored differently. The first one is physical rest, and that's the obvious one, right? Sleep. But also the passive rest of intentionally sitting down and stopping, and the active rest of gentle movement that doesn't tax you, okay? So walking, stretching, lying in the grass. What depletes our physical selves is long days at a desk, poor sleep, never sitting down. What restores it is good sleep, taking walks, leaving your chair regularly throughout the day, right? The second type is mental rest. This is the rest of a quiet mind. What depletes it for solopreneurs? Constant decision-making, problem-solving, planning, switching between tasks, having 10 things open in your head at once. This is absolutely me, okay? What restores it? Silence, single tasking, focused tasking, right? Time when nothing is being asked of you cognitively. So a walk without a podcast, a meal without your phone, right? 5 minutes sitting and staring at a tree. I don't know. Anything that gives your mind a break from the mental noise that runs rampant. The third kind is emotional rest, and this is the rest of not performing. What depletes us emotionally are things like customer-facing work, whether we enjoy it or not, right? Sales conversations, networking, being on for clients, having to manage your tone in every interaction. These aren't necessarily negative things, but they do deplete us nonetheless. What restores us is time with people who do not require performance from us. Our, solo time with no social demands. The friend that you can be quiet with. The family member who knows you well enough that you don't have to explain yourself. And then there's sensory rest. This is the rest of less input. So what depletes it is screens, notifications, constant music in the background or podcasts in the background, fluorescent lighting, sirens, sustained noise, all the things that just beat constantly on our senses, whether we notice it or not. What restores it? Turning things off, dimming the lights, quiet, just less, right? This is not no input forever because, yes, some of us need a little background noise, but just less input more often. So out of all 4 of those, physical, mental, emotional, and sensory, pick the one that feels most acutely depleted in you right now. I know there's at least one. That's where to start. Figure out which one is running on empty and refill that one first. So let's get practical then, right? Like the previous 2 episodes, we're going to build this in layers. We'll call it a rest protocol, okay? Because rest, like our step-away systems and our summer hours, only works when it is structural and not just aspirational. So layer 1 is daily rest. 5 to 15 minutes a day, every day, intentionally. Not when you are done with everything, built into the day on purpose. So this could be a 10-minute walk after lunch with no phone, or a simple 5-minute pause between client calls, sitting in a chair, doing nothing, maybe slowly sipping a cup of tea, okay? A daily no input moment in the morning before you open your phone. And that's a tough one for me because my email is part of my morning wake-up routine. The point is that the day has a small reset built into it somewhere, not just a long depletion that ends with that collapse. Now, our second layer is a weekly rest. One extended block every week. Something that is scheduled so that we take it seriously and we actually do it. This could look like a half day off the laptop entirely. A Sabbath-style day where you do not work regardless of what is on the list. That's what I have built into my week. A long walk on Saturday morning. The key word here is extended, okay? Meaning 4 or more hours where you are not in work mode and not just collapsing. Doing something that actively restores one of your 4 rest categories. And then your third layer is seasonal rest. This is the longer step away, the weekend, the week, the time block where you actually disconnect, right? We built the system for this 2 weeks ago in the Step Away Stack episode. But here's what I want you to notice. The seasonal layer only works if the daily and the weekly layers are in place underneath it. Okay, without the daily reset, then you get to the vacation already too depleted to actually rest. Without the weekly block, you've forgotten how to be unproductive long enough to enjoy a longer break, and then you do what I was doing and you're bringing the laptop with you while you're camping. This is not rest, no matter how much you enjoy what it is that you do. This is why most solopreneurs feel like vacation does not work for them. It's not that vacation doesn't work. It's that they're trying to do seasonal rest with no foundation under it. Build the daily first, then the weekly, and then the seasonal will work. So what about those occasions where you think that the rest just feels wrong? Okay, I want to spend a few minutes here because the resistance to rest is really where a lot of this kind of just falls apart for tiny business owners. Rest will feel unproductive. That's okay, all right? Rest will maybe feel a little lazy because there's so much on our plate. It might feel like maybe you're getting away with something, okay? Or that you're not allowed to because there's always work to do. We need to reframe those feelings. So when you think to yourself, I haven't earned this, okay, remember, rest is not earned, all right? It's required. The same way that water and food and sleep are not earned, rest is not earned. It is a maintenance input. You do not earn the right to eat by working hard. You eat because your body needs you to, okay? Rest works the same way. The earning frame is one that we have to put down because it never lets you cash it in. So when you think, oh, I should be working, should you though? Be honest about what kind of work you would actually be doing if you were not resting. Would it be the focused, high-quality work that moves your business forward? Or would it be busy work? Answering low-stakes emails, just refreshing your inbox or scrolling through LinkedIn, opening and closing the same 5 tabs, right? Tired solopreneurs do not usually do important work. They do what feels like maybe it's urgent, but it doesn't actually need to happen. That is not work, and it is not productive. And when you think, well, other people are working harder than me, maybe, or maybe they are discharging more, not contributing more, okay? The number of hours that someone is at their desk is not the same as the quality of work they produce. Many of the most successful business owners that I know rest more, not less. They've just learned that the hours they do work are more valuable when they are resourced, and they've gotten really, really good at getting in, being focused, and getting out. They're not working harder, they're working smarter. I know that sounds cliche, but it is absolutely true. If any of those reframes hit something in you, sit with that for a minute. The resistance to rest is not usually about the rest itself. It's about what we believe about our own worth as a business owner. All right, what I want you to remember is rest is not the reward that you earn after the work is done. Rest is the input that makes the work possible. Rest is not the same as collapse. Collapse discharges what's left of your energy. Rest restores it. There are 4 types of rest: physical, mental, emotional, and sensory. Sleep alone does not refill all 4 of those. There are 3 layers to your rest protocol: a daily, a weekly, and your seasonal. Every layer makes the next one possible. And when rest feels wrong, the resistance is rarely about the rest. It's about what you believe that you deserve. Okay, I'm going to give you a little assignment this week, some homework, if you will, okay? Pick one type of rest that you are most depleted in right now, physical, mental, emotional, or sensory. Schedule 3 sessions of that rest this week. This is your daily layer that we're working on, okay? 10 to 15 minutes each, just 3 times this week. Put them on the calendar like meetings and notice what changes. Your energy, your work quality, your decisions, your mood. Just notice it, okay? At the end of the week, decide what to keep. What worked? What surprised you? Figure out what you want to repeat. How is it helping? Okay? That's it. Just 1 week. By the end of it, you will have your first real data point, and you know I am such a data nerd. So we're going to see how rest acts as a business input in your business. And I will bet most of you are going to tell me that you didn't realize how much was missing until you started. This is the end of our June Summer Sustainability Series. I want to take a minute to acknowledge what we have built together this month. We started by building the Step-Away Stack, the 4-layer system that lets your business run without you for a week. We set summer hours that hold without apology. And today, we built the foundation under both of those, a protocol for the kind of rest that actually restores you, not the kind that just discharges what's left. You do not have to have all of this perfected by next Monday. None of this is a one and done, okay? The Step-Away Stack gets stronger every time you use it. I am still working through and tweaking mine every time I go away. Summer hours get easier to hold every week that you do them. Rest of all of it is the one thing that takes the longest to learn and the one that will change the most when you do, and I am speaking from experience. If you only take one thing from the month, take this. Your business is something that you built so that you could have a better life, not so you could have a worse one with a little bit more autonomy. The rest is part of the life. Do not trade it away. If you want a place to keep building alongside other solopreneurs and microbusiness owners doing this exact same work, come join us in the Growth Table Small Business Collective. We are building these things right alongside you with monthly workshops, a growing library of practical resources, peer support, and more, all in a private community off social media. Head to growthtablesbc.com or grab the link in the show notes. You've got this, and I am cheering you on. I'll see you next Wednesday.